First of all, one of the principles in prosperity is gratitude. I'm very, very grateful that I can speak here at Reverend Loretta's church here. I am just elated. I've known her for a number of years. And I'm also very appreciative of all of many of my clients who participate in my success programs. Some of them came today from the Manhattan office. I've never seen them before. I don't always go to the Manhattan office. Please forgive me. One Jan sitting right up here in front. Can't be at two places at one time. First of all, this is a very, very important topic, prosperity. You do need money to deal with your life, to purchase things, and to do other things. It's one of my favorite topics. The title of my topic is Prosperity is Consciousness. Caveat emptor, buyer beware. You need to know that you've impregnated yourself with certain thoughts, ideations, and belief from our world of experiences and from the mass media. This information goes down the hallway of your mind, and sometimes you acquiesce yourself to what goes in your mind, thus impregnating you with certain ideas and beliefs. These ideas and beliefs correlate many times with what comes out of you and what comes from invisibility to visibility in your life. One of the things I was thinking about when I was going over this topic, it made me think when I was at Michigan State University, and you may need to review some of these things. In their personality track, you deal with certain authors, Pavlov, B.F. Skinner, Erickson, Piaget. They provide very, very interesting information to us because it lets us know that through our development and our developmental stage, it's so important. During that time, you are flooded with information and knowledge from your parents, and also at that time from media, friends, etc. We need to understand this. As we grow in consciousness, you read, you look at information that's going to provide you with the insight for you to start making changes and really understanding yourself. So really, prosperity is consciousness. You need to understand maybe the first 3 years of your life, the conditioning, how your parents looked at money, what effect did that have on you as you move down the road and start accepting other beliefs about money. I looked up this morning, I was at my Brooklyn office. I was appalled to see this, I already knew it, but I still wanted to look at this. 1% of the population has 50% of the world's wealth. How sad. You know the reason for that is consciousness. Don't worry about the crooks. Don't worry about the people that are stealing, robbing the bank, because you should know no debt ever goes unpaid to the universe. Do not use your energy in looking at that. Use your energy to transform yourself to the understanding that you can create more in your life, and it has no one that you need to deal with except yourself. Some years ago, Jan had just asked me a question. How did you get into this? Some years ago, before my company really grew, I was consultant. This clinic had 3 clinics, this agency. They made me the clinical director. They had 2 offices in the Bronx, 1 in Manhattan. I was at the office in the Bronx to tell you this was probably 1993. I was in the post office. post office to mail something. I'm standing in line. A young lady with her daughter was with her. The daughter said, "Mommy, look, I found $5. The mother said, "Well, shut up and put it in your pocket." Wow. Wow. Look at that message. We see that she has been impregnated with something, with certain kind of ideas. How powerful it could have been. Honey, good, you found that. There's only a few people in here. Let's ask to see if someone dropped that. Okay, if they didn't, maybe you could keep it. Words are so powerful. The impregnation of certain ideas, it carries forth. There's a lot of lack and limitation within our experiences and the world of experiences. What I want you to ask to do, I'm going to give you a couple of questions, and as I go through this, maybe you could look at some of these questions with yourself. So this is a time to expand your consciousness and insight. I always tell people that I'm not here to change you. That's your choice and decision. Just like you brought those beautiful earrings, you could pick up information and knowledge. Just like you have that wonderful coat, James. I really like that. You bought that, you could pick up information and knowledge too. It's a choice. We're doing it all the time. One of the questions I want to ask is, where is your substance and supply? You ever think of that? Have you taken charge of your mind? Have you thought of it? Or has mass media, with the external stimuli of the universe that are mesmerizing, seducing, and putting people in a trance, and that's the be-all and the end-all? Dr. Grayson says, one of my great teachers, I am so blessed that he was the pinnacle for me. Not my education and graduate study at Michigan State University. Dr. Grayson was. Those degrees didn't mean anything. When I came and started studying metaphysics, that was my evolution in understanding these spiritual principles and laws of the universe. Grayson says, either you or the world directs your life. Either you or the world directs your life. Another question, I always tell people this. Is it time for a tune-up? Is it time for a mental tune-up? You need a tune-up. The highest being within the universe. We're so talented. These bodies could go a long, long way. We could overcome situations, obstacles, physical ailments, and other kinds of things. Are you tuning your mind up to what you need to know? I tell people, you can't just make a pit stop. You have to work with these ideas over and over again, and over and over again. That's what Dr. Grayson used to say. A bootstrap operation. Over and over again, and over and over again. Like you watch that movie? Over and over again, and over and over again. You watch the movie. It's no difference. You're sending messages to the hallway of your mind that's building up, creating a file, and then when the situation comes up, that file will open up, and then it'll send you the message. Many times it may not be the right message. I was looking at the definition of prosperity. The definition of it, you should know this: good fortune, growth, opulence, profitability, riches, success, and wealth. That's prosperity. And you know, this is not only cash. This is love, health, spirit, peace of mind, being at ease with your life. Prosperity covers many areas. Prosperity for me is that I need to keep this body in order. I was telling Reverend Loretta I had a sciatica a month ago. That pain shot down my leg. I hadn't had that in years. I used to play a lot of basketball. So what do? What was the cause? Went to a chiropractor. Michael, you're doing your sit-ups and you're putting stress on your back. And then my home in New Jersey, I have this mattress. I was telling you a little bit. I've had it for years. I need a new mattress. And that was the formation of that. So I went to a chiropractor for 3 weeks. It's gone now. Start looking and understanding the messages that you are receiving from the universe and what you may need to do. We're always receiving messages, and sometimes they may be a warning. You don't take heed to the warning, it could be cataclysmic. If you love yourself, which is essential in prosperity, you don't want anything to happen to you, and you don't want anything to happen to anyone else. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and said, oh, I love myself? Not with the Armani suit, not with the Coach bag, how do I look? Not with whatever, the bling and strutting, whatever. When was the last time you say, I love myself and I love my body and I love who I am and I don't want anything to happen to me? So important. If you think that way, you have a consciousness that you don't want anything to happen to you. You're already merging yourself to a foundation. As you emerge yourself to that foundation, you tend to be in good terms. And then when you're confronted with an issue, you know what to do. You all need to, I brought some books. Some of the cornerstone books for me. One of the books, the first one, Spiritual Economics, Eric Butterworth. First published, I think, 1993. You don't remember 93? Butterworth used to be right in this area. I saw him speak. He was right next to Dr. Stuart Grayson for many, many years. Spiritual Economics. My mother gave me this book when I finished studying at Michigan State. She gave it to me before then. I never read it. The old edition, or the old copy. I lost my copy on the flight, one flight from China, Cathay Pacific back to New York. I was heartbroken because my mother had wrote something in the book. I guess she was impregnating me with certain ideas and beliefs. Another book, You Can Have It All. So true. You can have it all. However, there's no such thing as something for nothing. Another book, Creating Affluence. Deepak Chopra. Another book, Deepak Chopra, 12 Spiritual Lessons for Creating the Life You Want, The Way of the Wizard. The final one, probably the most recent book that I bought, was The Biology of Belief. You gotta believe. You have to believe when you work with these principles. Remember, the subjective state of mind does not differentiate. It only yields itself to what you say. Sometimes we don't know about that. The mechanisms of the mind. You have to believe. I like that movie, The Matrix, 1999, when Neo had been racing from the agents throughout the movie. At the end, Neo turned around. I'm going to confront them. Morpheus said, he believes. You have to believe. What a wonderful message. Believe. I just mentioned Eric Butterworth. He said that there is only one way by which you can achieve prosperity. It is to take charge of your mind. You may be looking for some magic formula that will change things, but if you want to challenge and change your life, you will have to alter your thoughts. Let's do a little exercise. How have you been thinking today prior to coming here? Self-evaluation. How have you been thinking?
Positive.
Good. That's a good indication of what's going on with us. And it may indicate a certain flow that's going within our mind, within our thinking, within our thoughts, and within our beliefs. You have to believe. Jan, when you saw that necklace at the store, you looked at it, let's just say it cost $5,000. I want it. You put it in your mind, and you got it. We're getting things all the time, but we're not understanding and using the principle, and thus, even if it's $5,000, it's on the same plane as $350,000, $400,000, $500,000, $800,000. It's the way you think. Sometimes you have to maybe come back over here, well, let me bring it up to $300,000. I'll work with this idea, and I'll make the next step. It makes me think some years ago, I had a house built in Bridgewater, New Jersey. 4-bedroom, 3-bath, $225,000. I sold it, and I was the first one in the community to sell my house for $500,000 US. I believed it, I acted upon it, and I did it. You have to believe. I travel to China a lot. I really like history. My minor in undergrad was psychology and history. So going to China now, I do a lot of research. I'm mostly in Shenzhen, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Wuzhou, Chongqing, Hangzhou, different places. And I came across article. Back in the mid-20th century in Bangkok, Thailand, the Thailand government was making a road through this village, and they had a Buddhist monetary place there, so they had to move the monetary and also the Buddhist statue that was about 11 feet tall. So once they moved it to another location, they were trying to place it, and they were having problems because the clay started falling off. Everyone was upset that the statue was falling apart. And they kept setting it, and then they noticed when the clay was falling off, underneath was gold. All the clay fell off, and it was a gold statue of Buddha. Originally, they thought that it was only 50,000 US dollars, but it was worth millions. Underneath you is gold. Either you believe it or you don't. That's a choice. You're the highest being, the highest source. You are boundless beyond boundlessness in your entitlements, achievements, creating and demonstrating from invisibility to now it's here. It works through your mind, and then you bring it forth. Know this. Sometimes people don't want to accept this because you know why? What are my friends going to think I start thinking this way? I can't let them go. Well, you don't let them go. You maintain a certain kind of consciousness. Grayson used to talk about release and let go. You have to let go of things. People, situations, events, certain things that people may have said. You have to let it go. You don't let it go. And I think this has happened to everyone. You're going to get burned. Emotionally, physically, impregnation of certain ideations. It moves to the weakest link within your body. It breaks the body down, and thus problematic anatomy, issues, and problems. There's a causation for all illnesses and other kinds of things that go on. And that's why one of the reasons we should be working to understand ourselves and raising our consciousness. What can you do to manifest your consciousness? In the Church of Religious Science, we utilize spiritual mind treatment. Sometimes I don't like to correlate that with a prayer. Because when I was growing up, my mother took me to these churches where they were sort of begging. Oh God, give me this, please God, can you do this, can you do that? In metaphysics, spiritual mind treatment is speaking at an optimal level. This treatment is for Michael Ferguson, in knowing that I am entitled for greater health, success, obtaining clients worldwide. I'm always safe on that 16-hour plane ride going to JFK to Hong Kong Airport. You speak the absoluteness of who you are and know that you create the kind of energy and that energy comes back. I tell people energy permeates into the universe, and sometimes that tends to awaken us, to let us know that we have some issues. Energy is pouring forth all the time. I don't have my phone, but I use this illustration. I've mentioned this before. Pull my phone out, I can call China now. Shenzhen, 8,200 miles away. I go to Shanghai a lot, 8,400 miles away. This doesn't have a cord, does it? Going 8,000 out the door? No cord. It's wireless. This created that. In case you didn't know, you're wireless. You're projecting energy into the universe all the time. When I started studying metaphysics, don't get me wrong, I haven't always been an angel. I'm probably still not an angel now. Don't let me talk about when I was undergrad at Michigan State University, and I was hanging around with the guys from New York, New Jersey, Toronto, Detroit. I did some things I probably shouldn't have done. When I came into this teaching with Dr. Grayson, my consciousness rose, and I just sit in my office. Elaine, forgive me for what I did at that time. That was my consciousness then. My consciousness now is totally different. Please forgive me. You don't have to always call anyone. Your sincerity is most important. Your energy goes out and you yield yourself and recognize that there was an issue with you. So the spiritual mind treatment could go in many different areas. The treatment could go that you want your consciousness to rise. So you would say, this treatment is for Betty, knowing that I'm connected to a boundless and endless source. I'm an individualization of this power and substance. I yield myself in this understanding, knowing that I am directly correlated. And as I invest in this, I know that my consciousness is moving up and beyond and creating and bringing forth that what I want in my life. You're doing it all the time. You're doing the treatment all the time. What are your plans today? You're going to meet your friend. You're going to have lunch. You're going to laugh. You're going to have a great time. Didn't it happen? It's no different in the plane. Now, why think that you can't just move across this spiritual plane? I don't have all the money. It's only 400,000. I have 10,000. I could keep working with this idea. My wife has a couple of thousand. And as you work with this, as you meditate on this, you open the portals of your mind that what you need is going to manifest in your life. And you're going to bring that condo from invisibility to visibility. Another thing you and we need to do as far as treatment is to treat, to remove fears. Many times we have fears that tend to inundate us. Grayson used to say, it's very difficult to walk forward if you're looking backwards. Having certain kind of fears. Be careful of the mass media. It's a proliferation of that. It's endless and boundless. You have to be attentive to it, because if you take your hand off the rudder where you want to go, you'll be taken by the wave. Fear. Many good stories on fear. I'll mention it very quickly. I've told the story once before. Emmett Fox has a short story, Spirit of the Play, where he talks about the spirit is going down the road to go to India to slay 10,000 people. An old man walks into the road and confronts the spirit. Where are you going? I'm going to slay 10,000 people. The old man said, okay. Months later, the old man started hearing tens of thousands of people were dying. The old man said, he lied. Months went by, tens of thousands were dying. Eventually, the spirit was coming back up the road out of this city. Old man ran out. Spirit, you said you were only going to slay 10,000. Spirit said, old man, I kept my word. Fear killed the rest. I could see something like that could easily happen. I have worked with thousands and thousands and thousands of clients, and fear is very pervasive. So what are some of the benefits of prosperity, consciousness? Most important is love. To love yourself. I tell some of my clients, you have a beautiful wife, you have a beautiful girlfriend. There's only one story that you should ever tell. If she says that she's number one, you could say yes. But you need to repeat to yourself, I'm number one. Because I know if I'm number one, I'm able to give at a very, very high level. Love, so important. I mentioned earlier about gratitude. Have you been thankful for this week? Have you been thankful for what you have, for what you've done? Have you recognized that? It's a cornerstone, a main ingredient of prosperity. You have to be grateful. When I'm in New York, I'm work. That's why I can't make it to the Manhattan office. I work. I go to my house in New Jersey, take my dog Ziggy, I'll have a cup of tea, thank the universe for the greater success of my company and what I'm doing. And I send this treatment to all of my clients, wishing, hoping, that they're operating at an optimal level and at their highest ability. I don't have to be with 10 people. I don't have to be with the most aesthetic person in the world. No. I need to be with myself and love myself and take the time and attention to recognize and work with these principles. And I really think I'm a late bloomer. So I'm working at this continuously. Also important, which I mentioned briefly, is your health. A prosperity consciousness is health. I mentioned earlier these vehicles, this substance that we're in now, it could go a long, long way. And we have to take care of it. Lipton, the biology of belief, he mentioned some very curt statements. I'm surprised you're not doing more research with this. Placebo. Take this pill, you'll feel better. It's been endless and countless research. They were only given a sugar pill, and it rectified their physical ailment. Placebo. The reason they don't is probably due to the pharmaceutical industry. Multi-billion-dollar corporations. 5-cent pills that sell for $200. Very good book. The Biology of Belief. So the prosperous consciousness is always going to create opulence, wealth, and success. And then you'll start getting messages. Look at the messages that you may be receiving. I talk about this a lot. One of my last flights from China, the flight from Shanghai going to the Hong Kong airport, that's a 2-hour flight. The plane was delayed. I missed my 7 p.m. coming back to New York. So they said, Michael, you're going to have to, right when we were landing at 7 p.m., my flight was taking off. They said, now you're going to have to take the flight 1 a.m. to Vancouver. I don't like that. So 7 p.m., I had to wait until 1 to take the 1 a.m. flight to Vancouver. I've never seen this before, but it shows the wealth and abundance in the universe. That's the only flight from Hong Kong to Vancouver by Cathay Pacific every day, 1 a.m. If that's the only flight, there's going to be a lot of kids on that flight, right? I sat in business class. Never seen this before. It was about 15 kids from 3 to 12 sitting in business class. These huge seats. Sitting next to me was a kid, 3 years old, standing up, and they were treating him like a king. He's way over here, up over here. And his father was way over near the window, business class, and his wife, business class. His father, he was from Thailand. The father got up. I said, how much you pay for your son's seat? Michael, I paid $6,000. They gave a 15% discount. That flight from business class is $6,000 from Hong Kong to New York, Cathay Pacific. It's over $7,000. Do you think I paid $7,000? No. There are many ways to do things. I never paid the price of what it is. You can do it too. Look at the wealth within the universe. It's there. You just have to open your mind, relinquish, let go, continue to work on these principles, continue to impregnate yourself with these ideas. Let situations, places, people go, find the right collection. Don't make it a pit stop and keep working with this. Oh, have an advisor. My advisor was in Virginia. She's a practitioner. I'll call her up. And she'll do a spiritual mind treatment for me. Reverend Loretta has done treatments for me. They have treatments here on Sundays. Ask a practitioner to do a treatment for you. Ask me to do a treatment for you. You need to start this now. I always say Buddha says the time is now to get going. You have no time to waste, procrastinate, or whatever. The time is now to start working on this, moving forward, coming up with ideas, and creating your reality, whatever that is you want. And also, move into your talent areas. This is my talent. This is what I do. I'm just a little chip off of my mother, who was very, very talented. She never attended school, never attended college. I'm so blessed that she was tough with me. Even when I was much bigger than her, she would grab me, you better do the right thing. Tom Johnson, I didn't bring his book, but Tom Johnson says something very interesting. It definitely correlates with what I've been saying. Lack of understanding of who and what we really are is what is in the way of our total expression of life, of living fully and completely. Our every moment then should be directed towards self-awareness, consciousness, to self-realization. We are God. God is all there is. All that God is, you are. You're a direct correlation from Him. You're everything that He is. That's your heritage. You're already on the throne. You're already the emperor. You're already the king. You have to believe it and know it. I'll be finishing in a minute. By growing in consciousness to this truth, you elevate yourself. A couple of things that you need to have is that you have to have passion. 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 Do you have passion? When the chill goes through your body, passion. When I first got my first contract in 1998, the chill ran through my body. I didn't get it 92, didn't get it 94, didn't get it 96. I didn't give up. Reverend Loretta was around. She knew about it. Dr. Grayson knew about it. I didn't give up. Where's your passion? Have absolute belief. Put in your treatment. I am entitled to this. It's my entitlement. I do it all the time. I'm entitled to this. You're already a God. You don't need to beg. If you're begging, the eternal self looking down, my son, my daughter, why are you begging? You're everything that I am. You just need to know. You just need to have faith and conviction. You just have to accept this. And then he walks away. Figure it out. That's the way it works. It's no begging. The faith, conviction, the heritage, you're already on the throne. So this has to become your attitude of embodiment. This is your substance. You embody this. This is the foundation of this. Once you start and have the foundation, the launching pad, then you start building, understanding, learning more, giving more, appreciating more, devoting yourself more, and it becomes less arduous. Oh, that's a great story. I can't get it to you in time. So prosperity is to mind your mind. When I go to China, you're getting on the subway, a lot of short people there. Mind your head. Mind your foot when you're getting on the subway. Mind your arm when you're coming up the escalator. Mind. What you need to do is mind your mind. Mind your mind. To manifest prosperity, you need to mind your mind. Manage your mind. Pay attention to your thoughts, beliefs, ideations, and what you project into the universe. Yes, this is caveat emptor. Buyer beware. Be aware of what you accept. Be aware of what you impregnate yourself with. Be aware of what your friends are telling you. Caveat emptor. Buyer beware. This is the truth. You work with these principles, work with these ideas, you emerge yourself to a position where you're on the launching pad, you can go wherever you want to go, do whatever you want to do, and then you project a very positive image to the universe, and things will begin to change. This is the truth and the law, and thank you so much.